going on, guys? We're here in the tropical shores of Columbus, Ohio. We're headed out to Lead FTS. We've been here for this will be our third day. We're headed to train with John Meadows. Trained with John a handful of times. Actually trained with John the first time I came to Elite about a year ago. So we're gonna get in. I think we're doing like a push-pull. With John, you just sit back and you let him take the wheel, and you just pray. So we're gonna spend the next 20 minutes until we get to Elite just sort of praying. So yeah, wish me luck.
I normally just do the first couple sets for high reps, and then I try not to fatigue myself. So then the sets become 3-4 reps, just to work your way up safely to the heavy set, and then you kind of go all out. But it's a little cold. You want to put the chains lower on your neck so you don't push your head forward, but if you get so many chains, it's kind of hard not to. So I'm trying to get them, see where I'm putting my way back on my neck, but eventually you pile so many up, they push you forward a little. It's alright, so. So see how his arms is locked? He's just keeping it in that one position. He's pulling across. I'm not quite so bent armed, but the main thing is just that you're using your pec to pull your arms across instead of pushing with your tricep. He's got his sternum lifted too. Make sure you don't cave in your chest and put all the tension in your AC joint. He's up real, he's high right there. That's perfect. And this is something that you don't have to hesitate going to failure on. It's very safe. It's not gonna kill you. So go to failure on these sets. Good. Again, this exercise is meant to be done ultra strict.
So many people miss, like, when you're trying to isolate a muscle, you're trying to disadvantage the way your body actually wants to move. So like when what looks too far is all the loads like through his shoulder blades and his rhomboids in that stretch position, and he's trying to keep that initiation within the pec. So he's actually trying to like use his rhomboids to push against the bench and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Just at least this is how I look at it, is like I want to initiate with my pec. So I want to move my arm on a fixed shoulder blade. So I squeeze my shoulder blades together as hard as I can when I initiate that movement, because I want to make sure the only thing that moves is I'm taking this from here to here. And it's funny because I do the exact opposite. I usually start in the lengthened position. It's like that's when you're weak. But like that's where like one of the points where you're weakest. So if I fatigue the rest of like the curve, I get here. But usually when I start, I'll do them without a bench. So the bench later in the workout helps because it gives us more stability, gives us more output. Like if we were to try and do the standing with no support on our back, it would be different. Like we wouldn't be hitting the reps at the weight that we're hitting. But this allows us like later in the workout to just focus just on the muscle and not on like stabilizing anything else.
I like the tension that you feel when you lower this under control too. When you don't just drop it, when you actually lower it with your back, there's a nice tension that you get when you do that. I think some people, when they're doing the rows, they squeeze it and just drop the weight. And just drop it, right? Yeah. You're missing half the rep. That's a half rep. The grip itself is going to give you more lower chop and rhomboid, but you can flex your lats too. I mean, you feel this all over. Sometimes I think people try to specialize too much with back muscles. 11.
The second career.
But the good part was I did 11 in under 2 years.
So none of it was good, dude.
I did 5 years worth of shows.
And retire. That was the deal.
I just, you know.
Yeah, I know. Can't change it now.
I might do 11 more.
You know what? All you can do right now is row, because we can't change the past, we can't predict the future.
That's true.
But you can fucking row.
That's true.
The powerlifters, because they're always trying to find that optimal range where everything works together to work the greatest amount of load. I think it's like an inverse to like training styles, like a contrast is I think most powerlifters who start to think about trying to train muscles in isolation because they're constantly training strength and integration, and then when they have injuries it's like, look, like your knees hurt. When's the last time you did like a knee day? Like don't even think about a quad extension, like think about training the joint of the knee, or like shit ankles in a squat. When's the last time you did any sort of calf raise? Don't look at it like a calf raise, look at it like training the fucking ankle. Your elbows hurt, your shoulders hurt. When's the last time you had like a shoulder day? Not a delt day, like a shoulder day. Not a bicep or tricep day, an elbow day, right? Like, I think a lot of powerlifters would benefit from a longevity standpoint in trying to train weak ranges because they're constantly hammering their joints in integration, trying to be as strong as possible. Yeah, I mean, just when it's simple and you have like a framework, focus on execution, right? Like too many people just like, oh, like I'll get it next set, I'll get it next set. It's like, look, we're only doing 3 sets here, you know, so everything's got to be, there's like an urgency, right? Like every set's got to work. That means every rep's got to be perfect. So like, you know, we have like little meticulous conversations like, you know, this is not a setup you're going to see every day, but when you get it right, it's just kind of maximizes the output of the exercise. But then on the surface, if you said, hey, I did chest and back and I did 3 exercises each, you're like, what the hell is that? It's like by the end of the time you're done, you're smoked.
I think where people get lost is probably that urgency. Yeah. And I think a lot of times people don't really know how hard they can push, you know. I think sometimes, particularly when people train by themselves, I know I used to struggle training by myself, and having a good training partner was always really, really beneficial, because a good training partner can always take you past what you think you can do, so you kind of know what you're capable of. I think a lot of people just don't. They think they're going to failure, they're close to it, but they're really not.
Yeah, it's this that breaks
you
first.
know, we saw, particularly with Jordan, you saw him do a lot of movements today where he went full range of motion failure and then did a lot of partials. So what I call failure is when you just can't do it a full rep with good form. Like, that's failure to me. Then you can decide if you want to continue past failure by doing things like we were doing today, maybe partials or drop the weight, but continue to keep the failure in execution first instead of just getting sloppy to get more reps. So.
Yeah. And when you do like workouts like that, you get better at the exercises. I think people like forget that there's kind of like, you know, when you're squatting, when you're deadlifting, there's like a skill component to it. There's absolutely like a skill component to doing a row like this, or a press at that angle. Like if you don't press that angle a lot, you're not really going to learn how to do it in 1 set or 3 sets. So it's like saying interset variables that allow you to stay in the exercise for longer actually allow you to get better at the exercise over time. And then as the skill kind of builds up, you get better at execution, then you actually get more and more out of the exercise the more you do it, right? People like, you know, I did 10 exercises for chest. It's like, did you do 10 exercises really shitty, or did you do like 3 exercises with really good execution and be able to practice and get better at those exercises?
And really what should happen, which I think people are starting to figure this out, as you get better at training and you get more experience, it really should take less sets. Yeah. Because each one should be more valuable. You should be able to get more out of each one. I think that's one of the lessons I've learned in the last 10 years is you get better and better at feeling this stuff. It shouldn't take as many sets, you know. So anyways, I hope you guys found this educational. So it's always good to see my man Jordan. Comment below, let us know what you think. If you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.